I've always wanted to do the Paris-Roubaix event. I've always been absolutely enthralled by the idea of competing in it. This is the first year that the professional race, amateurs have been allowed to race on the professional race circuit the day before the actual pro race. So when it was advertised, I just went for it. I started life as a mountain biker and went on to do cyclocross after that, so I'm always used to bouncing around while I'm riding. And the other thing I think is you spend a lot of time training in the winter for the very short summer we get here, and anything like the spring and Belgian and French classics do that romanticises riding in the winter and the sort of grittier side of the sport is just great and makes you feel like it's worth doing. Well, the weather is the really big unknown on the day, and looking back through the history of the race, you see photos where it's beautiful sunshine and then you see photos where the riders are just caked in mud. I prefer the former. I think riding the cobbles in the dry is tough in itself, but once these things get a drop of rain on it, they become very slippy and you feel a bit like Bambi on ice. So yeah, we'll be doing the reverse of the rain dance, if they have a word for that. We'll be doing it on the morning. Riding something like this, you're always going to try and emulate what you see riders doing on TV. So that what they tend to do is ride in the very middle of the cobbled street, hands on top of the bars, stay quite upright and alert. But I think one of the biggest dangers of the race is other people. There's something like 5,000 people riding the event, and when people get into groups and crowds, they tend to do quite crazy things. So I think just trying to stay close to the front of the group I'm in, keeping my wits about me, and being prepared to kind of pull the feet out the pedals if there's a crash or something like that in front of me, I think will hopefully get me through. Yeah, I've been commuting for 10 years, and there's certainly a lot more people commuting than there were 10 years ago. I think probably a few things have affected it. There's a lot more cycle lanes, there's the Boris bikes. Boris is obviously a cyclist himself and does quite a lot for cyclists, and also the terror attacks, and then just in cycling in general, cycle sport, without being a full-on racer but participating on the same courses that the pros do, what they call the sportif, is the fastest growing area of the sport. And you go out any Sunday morning and you'll see trains of people leaving London on their bikes preparing for these type of events. The commute I do to work, I try and incorporate a couple of small cobbled sections, just to get a feel of what it's going to be like, and also a feel of what the cobbles are like in the wet. There's two different routes I do. One takes me through North London, takes me through Regent's Canal and then onto this street, Murray Mews, which we call the Camdenberg, and then another takes me east and then south and then back west to work, and that takes in places like Wapping High Street. And there's a good 1 to 2k stretch in Wapping High Street, but I guess nothing's really going to prepare me for the real thing.